Howdy, folks. Working on a little fancy letter name thing, and I'm getting notifications. Hey, good morning, Josh, or Alessa. I don't know which one it is. I there was a miscommunication on this order. They didn't know that on custom projects I require payment first, and so I assumed that they changed their mind, but they mentioned something last night. Good morning, Dale. Says no sound on Facebook. Well, I hope there's sound somewhere because my headphones are plugged in. um, and what now? It's a little bit funny that this couldn't be a name like Smith. It had to be some Polish or Russian, Kazmarzik or something like that. Yeah, there's sound on YouTube. So if you want to check out Charles Deering Scroll or just Charles Deering on YouTube, should be able to find it. I'm not going to babble too much because I know a lot of y'all have Christmas going on. So I'm just going to get going. I generally start with the name on these things, and then I'll move into the design portion, and then I'll do the perimeter. But you want to save the perimeter for sanding, so it'll or the waste piece around the outside, so that you can put it back in place to sand. There's a little bit of cupping, but usually once the letter's cut, that goes away. Okay, there is sound for Tim Turner on Facebook, so Merry Christmas to you too, sir. Okay. Well, it's afternoon for you, Dale Kirkwood, but appreciate you. It's 5 minutes short of 8 a.m. here. I was having internet issues, so I was a little bit late getting the stream started. I'm going to go ahead and start with the letters. Get that out of the way. Merry Christmas right back at you, folks. I'm trying to make myself not rush on this because obviously it's a custom piece. I appreciate anybody that watches taking their time out, because I know it's hello Tiffany over on YouTube. Appreciate you watching, and Merry Christmas to you. Same to you, Josh and Dale and Tim. So this is going to take a little bit, but I got my energy drink, so we're good. I'm going to reposition the camera here in a second. Tim, it's somebody's last name. I believe it's pronounced Kazmarzik. I'll zoom in closer, see if it shows up any. It's a booger of a name. Hello, Randy Bosheen. Merry Christmas. Yes, I do need more Dr. Pepper than that, Josh, but it's out of reach right this second. Dale says, I'm out in the workshop doing stuff. Dinner is at 5:30. It's 8 a.m. here, or about to be 8 a.m. here. And let me make sure there's no dust on the camera. Yeah, I made myself get up because I promised this gal that I would, she was afraid I'd be mad at her. So, there's worse problems to have. Life's too short for me to be mad at you. You're wanting something, and I'll try to get it to you as quick as I can. I wasn't mad at her at all. Just a little bit of hecticness, but there's worse problems to have, and we'll pretend hecticness is a word. Hecticity sounds more intelligent. Merry Christmas, Pat H. says over on YouTube. Merry Christmas, everyone. I didn't expect to get this many viewers on Christmas, honestly. I just figured I'd throw it out there in case somebody didn't have anything else to do. All right, we're going to get going here. I wasn't given a deadline, but I know it's Christmas, so I'm gonna get it done as quick as I can. Tim Turner says, cool, so you misspelled my name again. That's funny, Tim, that's funny. Now, I will be turning this piece a lot because there's a lot of straight lines in it. And I also go slow in this thick wood like pine. As you can hear, it tries to skip across that grain. I'm not a fan of thick wood, but these letter name things look good in thick wood, or better in thick wood. The line got a little bit wavy, so I got to shave that. I'm trying to make myself slow down so I don't mess up. I'm rushing myself because it's Christmas, not for my sake, but for the person that wants this. Okay. Dale Kirkwood's talking to folks in the chat, so I'll let him do that. I'll go ahead and do the space between each letter and then do the insides of certain letters. Now this blade is used, so if it breaks pretty quick, that's why. Although I am admittedly catching myself forcing it because I'm trying to get it done in a reasonable amount of time. If I can find the stupid pilot hole, there we go. And you might be able to hear the roosters. I don't have the window open, but they're going at it. Regular pine, Josh, is what I'm using. It's just a regular old 1x pine. Tim Turner says, your patience and techniques amaze me. Thank you very much, Tim. I appreciate that. Here I am talking about trying not to rush. He's saying I have patience. But yeah, as stupid roosters, you could probably hear them. I don't know. But since I have this mouth mic, you may not be able to. But I forgot what I was going to say because I have 50,000 things going through it. Oh, I told y'all that if I could, I would do a live stream on Christmas Day, and here we are. Didn't know I would be, but it's a good thing. All right, let's get going. When I was trying to boot up the laptop to do this live stream, it was going like a dinosaur, so I had to reboot it, so I was a little bit late. If you go too fast on pine, it will ripple around those grains going down the wood. So it can be a bit of a booger to try to shape. Actually, sometimes even if you go slow, it depends on the board you got. I'm intentionally starting away from the line so that I can creep up to it because of the tendency of pine to want to move the blade around. And the reason why I'm spinning the piece, even though I'm using a spiral blade, is for that visual comfort. I don't like to do straight lines very often. doing them sideways or pushing them away from me. Pulling them towards me. I prefer to push them away, straight on. Unless they're little bitty straight lines like this one. Any sound effects you hear are my phone doing notifications. Wayne the Woodturner, hello, buddy. Says hi, guys. Josh says you still using those spiral blades on your letters? Yes, sir, I am. I don't use flat blades. Randy Bosheen says Merry Christmas, Dale. Viewed your alien video. I liked it. Sorry, Dale, that I missed that because I was up so late the night before. I don't know if you're talking to me or Wayne, Dale, but I might do a live tonight. It depends on if I'm home or not. But yeah, y'all keep an eye out for notifications on Facebook and YouTube. I will, I'll let y'all know. I feel like I got a little bit of an angle on that C rather than making it round, so I'm going to fix that. I messaged the girl on Facebook to let her know my progress and that I was going to be doing a live stream, but I don't know if she'll get it. So I think it'd be neat for the average person to see their order being worked on. That's just me. Excuse me. Midnight Joker, Merry Christmas. Okay, you were talking to Wayne. Sorry about that. Afternoon. It's morning here, but good afternoon, Mike. Josh says Dale. Then he was talking to Dale. Okay. I'm doing everything I can to make myself not rush this, because when I'm trying to get something done in a reasonable time, I find myself rushing. But I know she understands because of the miscommunication. But this will work. Christmas is not ruined for her, hopefully. Okay, Charlie, take a breath, dude. You're going to push yourself too hard, by God, and end up laying on the floor. Merry Christmas to you, Herbert. Appreciate you being here, buddy. Again, those on Facebook can't see the YouTube comments, and those on YouTube can't see the Facebook comments. I'm on a StreamYard platform, and it allows me to see comments from both platforms. Mike Lang says, Merry Christmas, folks. Bless Charles for one of the few lives running today. Well, thank you, Mike. Yeah, I don't discriminate. I'll do a live on anytime I'm home. If I'm able, I will do a live stream. If not one or more or two. You know what I mean, dang it. Hopefully you know what I mean, because words are not working for me this morning. And for those keeping up, I was able to see my daughter. I wasn't able to get her or anything, but I was able to see her, so I was glad. I really got to slow down because that blade really wants to follow the ripples in the grain. You think I scroll slow usually. Cutting across the grain goes quicker, but doing a curl right there with the grain goes a little slower, and same with straight lines. I can't get the blade to bite to do the shaving, so it might mean it's a little dull. You're going to see me doing a lot of shaving on this. I did not expect a lot of real-time viewers, so that's kind of cool. I'm going back to the beginning of the cut so I can do the visual comfort. And do a real quick comment check. Merry Christmas, Smoot Yolanda. Yolanda is, or Smoot Yolanda, is your first name Smoot or your first name Yolanda? Because I feel weird calling you something other than your name. It's just thick, Jacob. Not Jacob, Mike. It's just thick. It's 1 inch fine, or that's what it's called anyway. And Merry Christmas to you. Josh says it's cool that you got to see your daughter family regardless. Regardless, I 100% agree, because I was real stressed because it didn't look like I was going to be able to, but last minute we were able to squeeze it out. Brent Weisenborn, appreciate you being here, buddy. Merry Christmas to you too, sir. All right, so let me get going again. No, I stopped. I got to take a swig of Dr. Pepper now. I cannot believe there are 14 people watching on Christmas. I thought for sure I'd be lucky to get 2 or 3, but that's sweet. But yeah, anybody has, okay, Yolanda. I'm going to start calling you Yolanda if you're okay with that. It just seems easier. Yeah. Forgot what my point was because I jump around so much. Anyway. Did I mention I love that Dr. Pepper? Just saying. Tim Turner says, I have you on YouTube and Facebook. YouTube, you have the big TVs. You're on the big TV so I can see what you're doing. Sweet. Well, get on a little one. You won't see the mistakes. That's funny right there. Come on now. I know in the UK it's 6 hours later, so it's about 2 in the afternoon, I think. 2:10. Let me do the math. Yeah, about 2 in the afternoon. It's a little after 8 a.m. here. And yes, I'm taking my time, because if I don't, I will rush through this and screw it up. This girl and I are both lucky I had a piece of one by sitting here. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to fill the order because I wouldn't have had the money for the wood. All right. YouTube also, I'm always told that YouTube tends to have the better video quality as well. But if you're watching on Facebook and want to connect on YouTube, I go by Charles Deering on there. You should be able to find me. And I hope you'll subscribe and click on the bell to be notified. And if you're on YouTube and want to connect on Facebook, even if just for chatting, I go by the Charles Deering, and that's all one word. I'm going slow intentionally. You can hear it trying to skip across those grains. That's why I'm going slow. It doesn't want to make a consistent cut because I'm cutting at an angle across those ripples. Now it's smoothing out a little bit. Come on now. And if this customer ever hears me, quote unquote, complaining about her name, it's in jest, because if you want to find humor, this couldn't have been an S with Smith. It had to be Kazmerzik, some big old long name. But it makes it more fun and makes the live stream last longer. Using the spiral blade as a little mini sander to make sure that line's a little straighter. And I always talk about how the spiral blade can be used as a little mini sander, but when it's dull, it wants to jump over it. So I think I'm gonna switch out the blade to a sharper one, and we can shave that much quicker. This one's not unusable, but not really quick, and on the get all kinds of notifications. Okay, where are we at here? But we don't have to reset the tension because the blade didn't break. Wait, put the piece through there before you put the blade in there, genius. There's your tension. No, I haven't made a Dr. Pepper sign yet, Yolanda. That's funny. I really should, but yeah. No, I haven't. What size pilot hole? I believe it's a 1/32. I don't have any 1/16" drill bits because that would require remembering to go out and get some. But yeah, that's that. Okay, I believe I'm caught up on I cannot believe there are 14 people watching, or 13 right when I said that, but I appreciate y'all being here. If you're just joining, wondering why I switched blades, it's because a sharper spiral will do those. Well, maybe see if I can zoom in without blurring. I don't know if you can see that little trying to get it visually there, little bitty area I'm going to shave off right here. When the spiral blade is dull, it'll bounce all over that instead of just shaving it off. So that's why I put a sharper blade in there. Does that show up clearly to y'all? Well, no, I was going to say I'll keep the camera there, but I can't because it's too close. My hand will keep bumping it. So I can go a little further back, but not as far back as I was. Let's see if we can make that work. Let me see where the blade's hitting. Almost out of view. Maybe that'll work. Another thing to contend with is the wood is slightly cupped, but that just happens here in Texas. All right, let's get going, y'all. Let me know if that gets too blurry or if you want me to go back too far back. Let me go ahead and go back far back anyway, because I'm very decisive here. Thank you, Tim. All right. That'll shave off much quicker now. All right. Now my hand jumping in and out of there might mess with the focus, and y'all let me know if it does. If it does, I'll pull the camera back even further. Per the usual. Come on now. There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go back a little bit so y'all have more of a overview. Sweet. Don't got a whole lot going on today. Might go over to my parents again, depends on how I feel. Okay, we got a straight line and a diagonal line. That diagonal line can be more difficult sometimes than the straight line on this pine, but we'll try it. Now, a normal person would use a straight blade on this project, but I'm not normal and I don't use straight blades, so there's that. I say straight blades, I mean flat blades versus spiral. Unless I'm a zombie when I get home later, I will do another live stream. I never know right what time it'll be. I didn't get home last night until about 11 p.m. my time, and I was exhausted. Let me go ahead and finish that cut, and then I'll get that out of there. Little bitty wave in the line we're going to fix. There we go. Much easier with a sharp blade. Catch up over here. Normal can be boring. Absolutely. And Josh says, that's for sure you're not normal. Well, I love you too. Merry Christmas, Linda Harrington. Appreciate you watching. Tim Turner said I'd be using a hammer and chisel and cutting torch. On certain projects, every now and then you want to take a hammer to it, but this ain't one of them. This is a repeat customer. Got the same thing last year. Good person. Good lady. Last year I was slammed with these kind of orders. This year, this is my only one, but you know, I'll take it. I'm doing the bigger cuts among the letters, and then I'll go back and do those little ones, and then we'll go around everything else. If y'all want me to have the camera higher up, y'all let me know, because, well, no, I keep asking that, and then I do it anyway, because I think overhead will be a little more fun to watch. Okay. When y'all hear me pause, it's either Dr. Pepper or me looking at the comments to see if there's anything I need to address. But when they talk to each other, I don't necessarily repeat what they're saying because it's none of my business. Now, I could use a number 3 blade for these smaller cuts in here, but I could probably get away with the number 5. I say that, but watch me change my mind using number 3. But the fact that it's thick wood, I'm hesitant to use the number 3 on anything. I hope everybody's having a Merry Christmas. If you're not, take the time to talk to somebody if it'll make you feel better. Talk to me if you need to. Some people are dealing with their first Christmas without a relative they may have lost, and I sympathize with you. Yeah. Always somebody that had it. I posted this on Facebook, but there's always somebody out there that has it worse than we do, you know. There's people stuck overseas, can't be home with their families. There's people stuck in hospitals, people laying there in pain. But it's easy for a lot of us, especially me, to complain about things that ain't working, but a lot of people got a lot worse. Anyway, that's my little soapbox for today, just to prove I can be mature, but don't expect it to last. Good old Dr. Pepper, man, you just can't do better than that, I tell you what. All right, let's get back on it. Ain't gonna scroll itself. And different pine boards can behave different ways. Sometimes you have no problem cut through it. Other ones, the grain's slightly different, and it'll try to follow the grain. But if you're patient, it won't that much, because if you compensate as you're steering, it should be okay. But every now and then it's just unavoidable. Kind of like right there. Sometimes it just wants to happen. But the reason why I don't mind working on this on Christmas Day is because it's making a difference for one person's Christmas, and that's what matters to me. Mr. Daniel Davis, Merry Christmas to you too, sir. Says, I'm doing today what I did yesterday, which is nothing. I hear you. I hope when I'm done with this that I can get a hold of the girl on Facebook. I tried earlier to let her know I was drawing on it and that I'd be doing a live stream of it. Haven't heard back, or if I have, I didn't see the notification. And trying to find the stupid pilot hole per the usual. Is that what I'm looking for? Yep. Yay. It's a Christmas miracle. Oh, diddly. Merry Christmas to you, Mr. Sterling Davis. Good to see you here. Appreciate you taking time out to be here. I really was not expecting this many people to be watching. Most people are trying to corral their kids and wondering why they bought those noisy toys for them. I guarantee you I got some chuckles on that, because I know y'all can relate. Why did we buy them that thing that's going to keep us awake all night? And Grandpa's over there on the recliner falling fast asleep. There's always one relative that falls asleep where everybody else does. Any questions or comments anybody has, feel free to throw them out there. I went a little bit off the line there, but it's consistent off the line, so I'm not going to worry about it because it didn't alter anything too much, not enough to see. Alright. Earplugs go with noisy toys. That's funny right there. Alright. Try to save some time and just find the pilot hole each time. We could try to. But I don't want to break the blade in the process. Is that what I'm looking for? No. I can't find the pilot hole. There it is. Good lordy. There we go. It only took me 30 minutes, but I found it. Okay, so my sense of time is a little bit off. ain't done yet. Come on now. Josh is asking if I dot the pilot holes with a Sharpie. I do when I'm having trouble finding them a lot, but right now I've had a little bit of good luck. I mean, occasionally it'll mess with me. But yes, sometimes I do, and then even then, sometimes I got to get a little light under there to find it. I'm using smaller than a 1/16 inch drill bit, so it makes it a little bit harder to even find the pilot hole. Also, when you're dealing with a little bit of cupping like this happens to be in the middle, so I can choose either or. But if you're working on the upper half, the odds of it not breaking are, let's say I was working above that line here, I would be holding the piece there. And if I'm working below the line, because the cup is right there in the middle, you just push down that side. It kind of helps. But I almost never have been able to work on one of these letter things on, this is 10 inches tall, by the way. I forgot what my point was. I've almost never worked on one of these letters on this thick pine without it being ever so slightly cupped, but usually once the letter is cut out, it evens itself back out. There's almost no cupping, if any at all. So yeah, if you're working on the upper half, work on that cup, and the lower half. But this happens to be right in the middle, so I just pick one or the other because it's not so severe that it'll break anything. And Josh says, sometimes I'll put my light on top side, so when looking underboard, find the hole a little easier. Yeah, with the light shining through, but with my eyesight, that ain't gonna happen. Someday I'll be so blind y'all see my face right there next to the piece with the camera, which is scary in itself. But little catch there. We're good. Raise your hand if you jumped when that happened. But when you're working on thicker wood, you definitely want to make sure your pilot hole is drilled straight up and down, so that when you do a cut, it won't be crooked. It could look fine on the front and terrible on the back. So if you see the upper part of this bouncing around, it's because of that little cup. But I'm pressing down pretty hard so it won't rock. I've never done these name things out of anything more exotic than pine because I can't really justify the expense. Although I won't deny that it would look pretty out of other woods. All right, no shaving needed there. And once you get done with all these letter cuts, the rest of it is just the design. Yeah, Yeah, Josh says it's harder to get people to pay for fancy wood. Yeah, and this is not to insult consumers, but yeah, the average person doesn't realize sometimes the time it takes to do these things. I post my finished pieces, the non-custom pieces. I post those on Marketplace selling, and I just don't get many sales of them. But my pricing might be a little high for their taste, but time takes time. Got to pay the bills like everybody else, I reckon. That or what I do isn't really a need. It's more of a luxury, so to speak. Not everybody needs a picture made of wood. Let's see. Should we eat this month or buy a Charles Deering portrait? Well, I think we'll eat. Now, I got that C a little thin on the last cut at the top, so I'm going to compensate by cutting slightly thicker on this side of the line. So if you see me go off the line, that's why. Not by much, though. You almost can't even tell. That or I'll just... Yeah, we did it. Never mind. No, I need to do the same thing at the bottom or it's going to look funny. Just barely going off the line, so you may not even notice it. I'm just slightly to the other side of the line. Now, I tend to work on little things that most people may not even notice as far as customers, but if I notice it, I can't ignore it. Someday I'm going to do a pop quiz and say, now why did I turn that piece? And the audience will all say together, visual comfort. All right. Dale Kirkwood, Maple Tree Studio says, I'm sanding and shaping an alien. That's not something everybody's doing, so that's pretty unique there. Josh says, wait, let me build another wall in the house so we can put a Charles Deering print, as I'm all out of wall space. Mike Midnight Joker says, looks a little Art Nouveau with the scrolls. Yes, sir, I agree. And Josh is saying, Merry Christmas, Andrew Rose. I guess that means, because on Facebook you can see who comes into the live feed, even if they don't comment. But on this platform, StreamYard, that's showing Facebook and YouTube, it only allows me to see people that are commenting, not people who come in. But now that I know Andrew Rose is there, appreciate you watching. Let me know if y'all can hear those roosters every now and then. I can hear them, but I'm using my mouth mic instead of the webcam mic, so it may not pick it up. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. The roosters only crowing at dawn or dusk or whatever the case may be is a myth. They crow whenever the heck they want to. Midnight Joker Mike says, can't tell from here, but is the grain fairly straight or wavy? It's pretty darn straight. Yeah, very, very straight. And I'd pull the camera closer, but I'm afraid it would blur, and I'd have to use both my brain cells and try to get the picture clear again. Y'all might be able to hear those roosters. They're not being real quiet. If I have my window open, you'd definitely hear them. They're definitely making themselves known. Yeah, the grain on this piece is very straight, actually. Good Lord, will y'all hush? Not y'all, the roosters. There's never any guesswork on a Hegner because the blade will hit the top of the little clamp thing here, and it lets you know it's in place, so you never have to wrestle with, do I have it far enough into the clamp or too far, blah, blah, blah. All right, now got a long bunch of angled lines on this one, so it might try to follow the grain. And if it does, I just have to shave at the line and then compensate on the rest of the letters to keep the same thickness. Very subtle, but I've noticed it, so I can't ignore it. Sometimes, like right now, I'll finish the angle cut and then go back and shave at it to get the little wave out of the line. Now, every characteristic I'm saying about occasionally wanting to go with the grain, that is with a spiral. I can't speak to flat blades because I don't use flat blades. But I haven't broken 50 million blades on this live stream yet. So we're doing good. Now, visual comfort usually would have made me turn that around, but I didn't feel like it. So I'm just going slower. I've still got a little bit of a wave in the line there, but I think it'll work. One last big cut between the letters, and then we'll work on the insides of the letters, and then we'll move on around. After we take a sip of the energy drink. Oh, yeah. Lord, that's some good stuff. Anybody wondering that hasn't watched live feeds before, I am using a number 5 spiral flat-ended Flying Dutchman, and the saw is a 22-inch Hagner. With all the fancy name things I'm doing like I am right now, I had a bunch of orders for those last year. I wish I had been doing live feeds last year because I think the average person would be entertained seeing their order being worked on a live stream. But it happens. Josh says, when you draw your picture, do you freehand draw or do you follow a stencil? Well, I make a stencil, print it out, and then I'll put it onto the wood and trace it with carbon paper underneath, if that makes any sense. Okay, now we're going to do the inside. Insides of these letters. Logic would say to use the number 3, but logic is not in my vocabulary, so I'm going to use the number 5 just because I'm stubborn. Unless I mess up one, then I'll move to a number 3 because I'm so decisive. I think we'll be okay, though. There's not any little bitty cuts in here any smaller than the insides of these letters. And I will try to remember to keep moving the camera so everything stays in the field of view. I don't have any minor children, so ordinarily I wouldn't wake up real early for a live stream, but because of the fact that this was a last-minute order or a miscommunicated order, I made myself get out of bed at 6 a.m., but otherwise I could have slept in. But I imagine the person that ordered this, if they're watching, they would probably comment, but maybe not. They might have a lot going on. But again, if you're just joining, if I get home at a decent hour later, I will do another live stream. We'll continue working on Mr. Miter. See, we used a big old fat number 5 blade and it didn't have any issues, by golly. Oh, we're going to have to turn it over and look for the stupid pilot hole. Yeah, it's time to do the Sharpie thing for the holes so I can find them quicker. Another thing to take in mind when you're doing these thick pieces on no matter what kind of wood, if it can have a knot in it, look at both sides of the wood. So I moved the piece over a little bit when I was putting it onto the wood because I knew on the back side I had that right there and I didn't want it to fall apart. Sometimes it adds character to a piece, but every now and then a knot will fall completely out. And if you don't keep track of it, you can't glue it back into place. But sometimes it won't let you cut through it because it's full of sap. Uh, Feeling for pilot holes that haven't gone all the way through, which has happened a couple times. But if I can find the dot, then I should be able to tear away the tear out. All right. Got a piece of tape stuck on the back there. Didn't have it in the right spot. Now, on any time I turn on this saw, it could make the piece jump, so try not to let it startle you, but I'm holding it down so it lessen the odds. But sometimes I forget to hold it down when I turn the saw on. Good Lordy, a whole bunch of comments just suddenly showed up. Maybe they were slow coming in, or YouTube had a glitch. Let me catch up here. Randy Bosheen says, have you ever tried using mineral spirits on soft cloth to remove the carbon from the wood? No, I haven't, because I've been so used to sanding it. I have no problem sanding it. Midnight Joker says, how come you don't plane the cup out? Because that's too much work. because the cup isn't that bad, and once the letter's cut out, it reduces the cup quite a bit, and because I like to do things the hard way. Mimi Lord says, good morning, you were at it early today. Yes, ma'am, that's how I roll. Much obliged for you watching. Randy Bosheen said it works well on pencil lead removal and doesn't affect the wood. It evaporates quickly. Good to know. And Yolanda says, would you check a design for me? I'm not sure of what is supposed to be marked out. Yes, ma'am, I will. If you'll message it to me, I will tell you which parts to cut out. 9 times out of 10 on a design, unless it's not shaded in, the dark parts will be cut out, unless it says cut out white. But it sounds like you may have gotten a design that wasn't colored in. So I will help you with that after this live feed is over. I will check Messenger and tell you. If not, I could, I don't know how to finish that question or answer, because my brain isn't working right now. And that's me trying to find a pilot hole without looking. But yes, I'd be happy to help you. Just message it to me over there on Messenger. All right. You're welcome. Not a problem at all. Mac Pierce says, Merry Christmas, Charles. Merry Christmas right back at you, Mr. Mac Pierce. By the way, anybody wondering, if you're on Facebook, you can't see the YouTube comments, and if you're on YouTube, you can't see the Facebook comments. That's why I read them out loud. I am told the video quality is a little better on YouTube most of the time than Facebook, if you so choose. You should find me under the same name on YouTube. And if you do, please subscribe, hit that little bell. You'll always be notified. I'm not, whining here. I just think it's a little weird. After my last live feed, I've lost 5 subscribers. Apparently, these people are not liking my live streams. But some people do, so that's why we do them. I don't usually unsubscribe from somebody unless they're just utter crap. So maybe some people think I'm utter crap, but there's worse problems to have. Tim Turner says, how thick of wood can you cut? I can't accurately answer that because I haven't tried to cut thicker than this 1-inch stuff, which is probably more like a 3/4 inch. But I will tell you, Pegasus blades are sharper, but they're also more brittle. And I use Flying Dutchman flat-ended ones because they have the flat-ended, and I somewhat of a product loyalist. And I get them from woodenteddybear.com. But I have more fun cutting thin wood projects, but for something like this, it does look better in thick wood. So ordinarily, I don't like to mess with thick wood because it makes things go slower. And of course, I missed the pilot hole I was going for. I like to go in order. I know it's not mandatory, but I like to cut them in the order, left to right, at least in cases like this, if I could find the stupid pilot hole. I think Randy Boschine likes to hide them from me when I'm not looking. Yes, for the blades, they are at woodenteddybear.com. Actually, absolutely. Or mikesworkshop.com. They sell the same blades. Mikesworkshop.com is when they first started selling them. And then the owner passed away. But I believe you could still get them from there. Whew. Wake up, Charlie. Wake up. You can't do this while you're asleep. I apologize. I try to keep these things in the screen, but sometimes I neglect to. Doing a little bit of back stretch. Bear with me. And again, I hope y'all are having a good Christmas. I appreciate you, 16 of you, or however many watch at any one point, taking your time out of your holiday to watch. That means more than you know. But try not to forget about those that, and I'm not trying to depress anybody, but try not to forget about those that can't celebrate the holiday or can't be with their family or are dealing with the first holiday without a family member that passed. If there's anybody out there whining because they didn't get something they wanted for Christmas, I'm gonna get a little bitter here. Get over yourself. Josh says you can only get Flying Dutchman from mikesworkshop.com. No, you can also get them from Wooden Teddy Bear. I promise, Josh. I wouldn't mislead you, buddy. Jeff Robinson says, who wouldn't like our little teddy bear, Charles? Merry Christmas. And that went out of view, so I got to get back to you. Merry Christmas and eat a flatter for me. If I can get to a flatter, I'll do it for you, sir. And Merry Christmas to you, too. Randy Boschine says dropouts. But yes, Josh, you can get them from mikesworkshop.com or woodenteddybear.com. They do sell the exact same blades. Herb Hoover says, I know you probably said this, but I missed it. But what's the size of that pattern, Charles? It is 10 inches tall, sir. And I never mind repeating myself. It's not a problem. Mimi Lord says, I like them. You are funny and interesting to watch. It just makes me want to go cut today, which I might after my coffee and homemade cinnamon roll. And no, I didn't make them my son-in-law. Sweet. And I appreciate that, Mimi. Yeah, like I said, if I can entertain or teach one or two people, that makes it worth it to me. Okay, I misunderstood your comment, Josh. Dave, Maple Tree Studio, Dale Kirkwood says, Merry Christmas, Charles. I'm off for food and Christmas shenanigans. By golly, ho, ho, ho. And no, I'm not calling you ho, but appreciate you watching, Dale, and have a good rest of your day, sir, or night, whatever the case may be. Randy Boschine says, and you didn't bring enough for all of us, Mimi? Nothing better than homemade rolls. By golly, you're welcome, Mr. Herb Hooper. Nantucket River, Chris Nealon says, Merry Christmas, Charles. Merry Christmas right back at you, mister. By golly. I cannot believe 19 people are watching on Christmas. But I appreciate you. Not complaining whatsoever. I thought I was going to average 2 or 3 viewers. Everybody needs to take a break away from the festivities every now and then. A lot of that chatter you hear is because this table I have over the Hegner table sits ever so slightly above the actual table, so there's a little bit of chatter. And I'm on a wooden floor, so any noise that can be made will be made. Besides my mouth. Not usually that loud. I don't know why it decided to be. Got a little wave in the line. I'm trying to get out of there, and it won't get out of there. Customer may not notice it, but I will, and it eats at me. There we go. All right. Chris Nealon says we have no life. And Tim Turner says, Charles, it's a great Christmas day. I have family and a great artist on TV. Sweet. Thank you, Tim. Tim, are you saying that your family's watching my weird butt? Not my, you know what I mean. And I appreciate that. Jeff Robinson says, oops. Dagnabbit. Sorry for my gutter language, just kidding. Jeff Robinson says, today will be a great day because I get to hold my grandson for the first time. Amen. Nothing like it. Mimi Lord, they have 4 dozen more. Wait, they have 4 dozen more coming to Oklahoma, and I will give you some. They're talking about cinnamon rolls, and now I'm going to drool on the live stream. Randy Bosheen says, yeah, I hide them. That's what you get for being a bottom feeder. Love you too, Randy. Jeff Robinson says, he's talking to Mimi, so I won't even bother. All right, so we're going to get back to it. 20 viewers. Good lordy. We appreciate you taking time out of your day or night or whatever time zone you're in to watch old Charlie on the live stream. I tell you what. Almost done with the letter portions. Little bitty letters, anyway. Every now and then I'll stop the blade into a corner like that in the attempt to make the thing a little bit sharper. Randy Bosheen says, Christmas scheduling issues, jet planes still need fuel. I hear you. So old Randy's working, or was working. Tim Turner says, my wife and Moo the cat are watching you, and me too. Oh, Lord. Hello, Mrs. Turner. And whatever the cat, Moo the cat. Hello, Moo. That's fun to say. Mimi Lois says, okay, touch subject. The Baby Yoda you did. And of course, I got a dang notification that covered up the comment. You didn't start anything, Mimi. The Baby Yoda you did, is that considered a copyright piece? Yes, it is, ma'am. So that's why the finished piece I did was a gift to my sister-in-law. There was no money exchanging hands, although some people would still argue that's copyright infringement. Guilty. Yep, I was a bad boy. But yeah, I gave that to my sister-in-law yesterday. By the way, any sound effects you're hearing are sound notifications from my phone, in case something's important I have to check every now and then. Moo the cat. I have a cat named Pookie. And another cat named Sparky, but at the time, that cat is named various cuss words that I can't repeat on the air because it gets into everything. I hear you, Mimi. Thank you, ma'am. Midnight Joker says, did you just say something? Someone had a cat called Moo. Yes, I did. That's Tim Turner. Tim Turner says, my wife said, hi, sir, and Moo jumped and looked over at the TV. That's funny. Hey, Moo Moo. Okay, I have issues. Moo. You shouldn't have told me that now, Tim. I'm just going to occasionally say moo. People will think I'm mental, but I'm messing with your cat. It'd be funny if I had a red laser dot jumping all over this project, wouldn't it? Somebody would need a new TV. Just saying. I'm looking right at the pilot hole and still couldn't get there. There we go. I cannot believe this blade has held out this long. Nice. Moo. Anybody watching this video later and not catching why I'm saying moo probably thinks, man, he totally lost it. He has mad cow disease. I tell you what. Oh, wow. Mike has a cat named Moo also. That's funny. Moo. Oh, that's just funny. Oh, you shouldn't have told me that because I'm going to just be totally randomly weird. I know that's a shock to y'all. Hey, Moo. Oh, that's just funny right there. I tell you what. Come on now. Somebody's going to come into this live stream late and say, why does he keep saying moo? That poor boy needs help. Moo. That's way too entertaining. I'm so sorry. So sorry. Only a little bit sorry. Moo. Didn't know you were going to get entertainment here, did you? Mimi Lord says you are having too much fun with that. Yes, ma'am, I am. Definitely too much fun. And if you tell me that the cat keeps jumping when I do it, I'll keep doing it. Tim Turner says, especially because there's a delay from YouTube to Facebook. My phone is Facebook TV is on YouTube, so he hears it twice. Sweet. He can be jumping all over that room, and now Mac Pierce is joining in, but apparently if the cat can't read, it won't help any. Kudos for jumping in. Jeff Robbins says, my wife and I must have been naughty because Santa didn't stop last night, and I was hoping for the new Seiko under my tree. Yeah, Santa didn't stop here either. I feel your pain. If you want to call it pain, I guess. Yeah, so. Moo. Moo, moo, moo. Oh, God, help me. Get a little warm in here. Might have to take my jacket off. Moo. Oh. Yeah, Charles Deering video went viral because he kept saying moo randomly while he was cutting. But if that cat can read, you need to be doing videos because that's some viral stuff right there. Did I fail to mention moo? Moo moo. Moo moo. Come here, moo moo. Lord help me. Help us all. And one last thing. Moo. Now, some of y'all might be thinking, man, that guy's weird, but imagine the alternative. I could be a boring person to watch or listen to, and I could also be mean, but I'm not a mean feller. And furthermore, moo. Simple things. Yep. See, Tim Turner says it's funny he is looking, so that's why I'm going to keep saying moo. I wonder how hard they're laughing. I don't know if it's at me or the cat or both, but I'll take it. Come here, Moo Moo. There's a mouse on the TV. And that was the last time Tim's TV worked. I think the hole in the table and the hole in the scroll saw table are not lined up. Let me verify. Yep, it was a little off. Moo. Yep, mad cow disease. I'm sure I got it now. It happened on a live stream. Charlie just lost it right there. Moo. Oh, Lord help me. Help us all. Because y'all got to sit through this until you X out. No, I don't know why, but I'm not crying, but I lost 5 subscribers since my last live feed. It's like, man, you tough crowd there. That's on YouTube. I'm speaking of. Tim Turner says he's laughing so hard he can't type. That's funny. I love a good laugh. Yeah, Josh says you could be the mean Grinch. By God, you're right. The weirdness is definitely not a bad thing, says Mac Pearson. He says, moo. And Mike Kim says, quite amusing. That's funny right there. By golly. Josh says, better watch out. Short padded bus might be coming for you. Heck, it's parked outside. I just told him to wait on me. Hee diddly. Moo. Oh, I got issues, but oh well. Merry Christmas. Moo. God, I hope people know what's going on when they come in this chat, and yeah. Oh, I wish she had told me that, because I'm going to keep doing it, and I'm going to get tired of it myself. But you know me. But one important thing to keep in mind while doing this is moo. You thought I was going to be serious? Come on now. I do tend to keep things going longer than I should, but worse problems to have, so therefore, moo. Moo moo. God, I have issues. Help me, Lord. It's Christmas. Randy Bosheen says, competing with the Roosters. Yes, sir. Cows can step on them there chickens, but I don't have any cows. But I can sound like a cow. You want to hear it? Moo. Oh, yeah, I did it. I segued right into that. You're welcome. Free entertainment, folks. Well, except for the therapy you'll need after watching this live feed, but because I love you, moo. I'm losing viewers. Oh, well. Oh, man, I just realized I forgot to monetize this video before I started. Y'all, bear with me right quick. Man, dang it. Why did I forget to monetize this video? It could go viral and I ain't gonna get nothing out of it. Gotta pay the bills, man. And more importantly, moo. Oh yeah, I said it. Moo, moo, moo. Oh, channel, bear with me. YouTube Studio. Moo. Yeah, I lost 2 more subscribers. Good lordy, what y'all do to me? Y'all are just meaner than I'll get out, I tell you what. Moo. I'll eventually stop saying moo. I don't know what day it'll be. Yep, monetizing turned off, and I have more viewers than I usually do on a live stream. That's just lovely. All right, that is now taken care of. But usually, I get done with these live streams, and I'll go over to the video page, and it says some content may not be suitable for all advertisers. So there's under review, and messes with me. But oh well, they can kiss. Moo. Nice try, Mimi. See, it's funny when they type it because that cat can't see it, but they're just losing their minds right along with me. Mimi says, "Did you design the letter moo?" No, that's Hans, the Hans brothers on their website. Tim Turner says, "You have the yellow bus, I have the helmet." Moo is calling you some names. We also call him Lucifer. That's funny right there. Yeah, we have a cat named Sparky. Half the time we're calling him a terrorist or little beef. You know, we can't use that word on a live stream. But I will eventually stop saying moo. So be glad when I do. It takes a lot for me to unsubscribe from somebody. So that's, again, not crying about it. I'm just amazed that that many people are running off after these live streams. But I am proud to say, I believe this makes my 17th live stream. Almost in a row, but I went 2 days without doing one. That's dedication, folks. I tell you what. You're welcome. Moo. If I can make one person smile or laugh today, I'm happy. And I believe I did that with Mr. and Mrs. Moo. Oh, I have issues. Guess I'll keep saying that. Lucifer, that's funny right there. Almost done with the letters, folks. Yeah, with the Hans brothers, you got to put the name in there, but then boom, that's there. By God. Or the Holz brothers, not the Hans brothers. I said that wrong because I'm mental. Moo. Mad cow disease. Moo moo. That's what's wrong with the world. We got birds with the flu and mad cows and all kinds of upset fellers. I'm just kidding. Yeah, we all have issues. Some people want to cancel their subscription to them. I hear you. Mimi Lord says, my cats are playing in a box we got yesterday. My cats are Wilma, Point, and Romeo. All right, now I'm going to be having all kinds of names here. Wilma, Point, Romeo, and Moo. So, no offense, Mimi, but Moo is more fun to say. Romeo, Romeo, wherefore thou Romeo? And that's all the acting you're going to get besides Moo. All right, time to get serious. Not. But on a serious note, if anybody has any comments or questions that are family friendly, I will address them on the live stream. When I'm here by myself, I have to do it between cuts. And when somebody else is here, I can just keep cutting while I'm babbling. Mac Pierce says, mine are named Lady Trouble and Laloni, or Lil One. Okay, Lil One, yeah. Good watching, gotta go. Thank you, Josh. I might have run Josh off with all the moose. I'm kidding, Josh. Have a good Christmas day, sir. I'm always calling you sir, but you actually have two names in your username, so I don't know which one of y'all's watching. But just know they wish you a Merry Christmas and a very moo wonderful Moo Year. Come on now. Three more cuts and the letters will be done, but we got to do all the other fancy stuff. And if you're just joining, wondering why I keep saying Moo, it's one of the viewers has a cat named Moo, and I had way too much fun trying to get the cat's attention. I do not have mad cow disease. I probably have something, but it's not that. Oh, that was way too much time entertaining myself, by golly. Oh, look, the roosters have started back up. That's lovely. We haven't had enough animal sound effects. Y'all might could hear that, I don't know. Oh, excuse me. Getting a little nip. Hush, rooster. I'm getting a little nippy here in the shop, but and no, I don't mean a little nip of gin. I'm saying it's a little cold in here. Let me know if y'all can hear that, rooster. I'm just curious. Be very, very quiet. I'm sleeping. Actually, I'm in a good mood because I broke a blade. That's the irony. No, I'm in a good mood because I was informed by email that I won the Malaysian lottery and I didn't even play it. So that's pretty awesome. Malaysian lottery, yep. I always frequent the Malaysian lottery because you just never know when you're going to win. Money can't buy happiness, but it can buy security, I tell you what. And it can also buy moo. Y'all got to be able to hear that rooster. Appreciate you watching, Josh. Randy Machine says, live streaming guru. By golly. Midnight Joker says, my cat is not my cat. I am her human. Amen. I built a cat sanctuary for a friend. That dang cat followed me around and refused to leave. Moo. See, everybody's just mooing right along with me. So apparently what I have is catching mad cow disease that's spreading through the chat. Save yourself. Oh, Lord. We're having way too much fun today, but by golly, it's better than not having fun, I tell you what. Y'all let me know if you can hear that rooster. I'm just curious. Andrew Rose, Merry Christmas, mister. Merry Christmas right back at you. Just so you know, Andrew, Somebody in the chat had a cat named Moo, and that's why I keep randomly saying Moo, because they said every time I say it, the cat looks over. And so that's why I sound so mental, randomly saying Moo. He's watching on YouTube and Facebook. Surely y'all can hear that rooster, even if your name ain't Shirley. All right, get back to it, Charlie. Come on. Fine. Yes, I talk to myself, and yes, I call myself Charlie because that's my name, and I have it memorized. So, actually, my name is Charles, but I go by Charlie most of the time. I'll answer to pretty much anything. And I have a twin brother, so if they say his name, I'll turn around anyway, because half the time they're trying to get my attention, and they're mixing us up. Mac Pierce says, I didn't know Mad Cow was a computer virus. I didn't either till just today. Tim Turner says, what rooster? I can't hear you because of the rooster. Oh, so maybe you can hear the rooster. I'm sure you can hear me, though. You're just messing with me. I see how it is. Or maybe you can't hear the rooster and you're just messing with me altogether. But if you want, I can open that window and we can all hear the rooster. Because it's not annoying at all when you're trying to talk. And I can tell that's all one rooster. It's not competing roosters. I actually have more than one rooster. I have one rooster that sounds like it's crowing underwater. Kind of funny. But rest assured, that rooster is not underwater. Looky there, he got the little letters done. Now he's got to do all the fancy crud around it. By golly. Moo. Well, I shouldn't have taken my jacket off. It's getting a little nippy in here. Yep, I'm going to put my jacket back on. Oh, diddly. No, Tim cannot hear the rooster. Yeah. Back when I used my webcam mic, it picked up. It sounds like that, but now I'm using a little mic that's right here by my mouth, so y'all are stuck with just me and the moo. Ooh. And of course, my jacket's getting all tangled up because that's what happens. Oh. Ooh, a little warmer. All right. But sure as heck, since it's cold, I'm not going to open the window, but ordinarily I would just for entertainment purposes if you like to hear roosters. I did make a slight Wait, let me make this last straight cut and then I'll say it. I did make a slight design change, nothing major, but this curly Q wasn't going to hit the edge of the. Wait, can you all see that? Yes, it wasn't going to hit the edge of the K, but I figured it'd be more stable if I made it. But I drew it kind of off, so I got to kind of compensate while I'm cutting. But probably safer just to draw it. Try to make it the same thickness. Yeah, I may have done it good enough there. I just got to round it out a little more. There we be. All right, move. All right. Randy Bosheen says worked with a gym because Merzik years ago. It took me 3 days to learn how to say that, by the way. At a major oil company, maybe a relative, I don't know. The person who ordered this does live in Gatesville, Texas. Mimi Lord says warming up my garage. We'll be heading out there in a few, but we'll watch until then. Much obliged, ma'am. If you can sit through this, you can sit through anything, by golly. Now, because I altered the shape of that, I'm also going to alter the shape of that curl so it doesn't look so weird right there. If I can. It may have to just be somehow subtle. Or maybe I'll just have to make less of it touching the other part of the K. I think that's what we'll do, but we can alter this a little bit. Very roughly doing it. I'll just kind of work on it as I'm cutting, I guess. A little more visually pleasing. Glad I don't have 20 orders to do because I am pretty tired. This is the only reason I got out of bed early. I'm not anti-Christmas, I'm just anti-waking up early. Midnight Joker says, thanks, that was bugging me. What was bugging you? Oh, the curl there. Oh, starting to get a little tired, but I gotta get this done. Good old Dr. Pepper. Actually, not a whole lot left because the majority of the cuts were in there. That real long name there. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 more interior cuts, and then the rest is the perimeter. And I'm saving the perimeter so that when I go to sand this, it won't break. I still might be saying this last name wrong. Kazmerzik, I believe, is how it's said. Now, as I mentioned earlier, if you have a slight cup in the wood like this, when I'm working below the middle of it, I push the cup down this way. When I'm working above it, push it down that way. And once it's all cut out, it won't curl near as much. But because it's slightly cupped, it will vibrate, so you got to kind of hold on to it. I went way off the line there. But I did not panic. I just got back to the line without making a big nook out of it. There we be. All right. Get out of there, puppy. Come on now. Just noticing you can barely see where I'm cutting because of that knob. So maybe we should go back to lower and see where that blade's coming through. Still kind of covered. Oh well. One thing that was not clarified on this order is whether or not they wanted it stained, so rather than pick the wrong stain color, unless I hear from that person, I will just make this a raw piece and just clear coat it. Okay. Now time for that pop quiz. Why did I turn that piece even though it's a spiral blade? You will be graded on your answer. I'll repeat the question. Why did Charlie turn that piece when he's working on a spiral blade that can cut in any direction? He turned that piece and he didn't need to, but why did he? And if nobody answers that, I'll be ashamed. It means you have not been listening. Exactly. Boom. Yeah, Randy Bosheen says moo can be used as a slang for swear words, by golly. Kiss my moo. Anyway, Yolanda says, what brand clear coat do you use? And she says, because she knew it was on the tip of her tongue. No, ma'am. It's the visual comfort, because when I'm working on a straight line, I like to be able to have that straight line facing me, and I cut pushing the piece away from myself. I prefer not to pull the piece away from me. That's just a visual comfort. It's not something you have to do to be a scroller. But the correct answer was visual comfort. And the closest answer we got was Herb Hooper says it's because it's for your comfort level. By golly. But I know you were close, Yolanda. Yay. And brand of clear coat I use is usually whatever I can find. I use aerosol clear coat. I don't brush it on. It takes too long. The best I ever found was called Deft, D-E-F-T, but I can't find it anymore, at least not locally. I prefer high gloss. Some people prefer satin. Okay, 2 more cuts on the bottom designs, and then we'll move on to the top, and then we'll cut the whole thing out. And Yolanda, I wish I didn't have anxiety issues because I'd love to meet you and help you out. Also, a reminder, if you didn't do it already, messenger me that pattern you want to know what to cut out. Midnight Joker says, you seem to prefer cutting to the left of the line like me. I think it's because the left eye is my dominant eye. My left eye is my dominant eye. Actually, my right eye, if I lost my left eye, I wouldn't be able to scroll because my right eye is practically blind. The way I usually put it is that I'm cutting to the waist side, which is pretty much the same thing you're saying. But yes, right here, the waist side is to the left. So, but every now and then it's to the right. So I can't consistently say that. The main point being it's on the waist side. Okay, come on, we can do this. Don't fall asleep, Charlie. Come on now. Holding the piece down because it's cupped. Dagnabbit. That broke because I was pushing it too hard against that waist piece, trying to get it to guide that waist piece out of there. That's what I get. All right, so that's 2 blades we've broken on this live stream. Shame. Randy Busheen went and put little crimps in my blades, so I could not go through a live stream without breaking one. I see how he is. Shame, Mr. Randy. Ooh, got my headphones stuck there. Y'all might have seen my ruggedly cute little face there. Tim Turner asks, what are you doing about the cupping? One thing you can do if it's kind of severe, somebody earlier mentioned using a planer, but I don't mess with that. You can also, it's very slightly cupped. It's not as bad as it, well, let me back up the camera. It's very slightly cupped, but regardless of the severity, sometimes you make sure the cup side is up, let me get here in view here. Make sure the cup side is up. You can use a heat gun or a hair dryer on the middle of that cup, and it'll eventually drop down. But in the case of this, if you cut something out of cupped wood, there's less wood there to be cupped, so a lot of times it will flatten itself out. As you can see, it's not quite as cupped as it was in the beginning. Maybe it's only slightly gone. But Chris Nealon says, any chance you have an easy Tom Brady pattern? Sorry, I know you're a Cowboy fan, just don't know why. I do not have a Tom Brady pattern, and I also can't speak to easy patterns, but I do custom patterns, and yes, I said do. But I started $50 per photo to pattern for a custom request like that. Jim pronounced Kaczmarek. Maybe it is Kaczmarek and not Kaczmarek, but since there's a Z in there, I just figured. Well, you typed too slow, Randy, but yes, you got the answer correct. But I asked that about 20 minutes ago. I'm just kidding. All right, let's get back on it since Randy wanted to break my blades. So mean. Come on now. Dag blabbit. Sorry for my gutter language there. My eyesight's going to crap. More gutter language for you, by the way. We learn from the teacher. Yes, it does, Yolanda. But if you will go to images.google.com and type in cupped wood or warped wood, because different things mean different things when it comes to wood. Cupping is usually only if it side to side like this. Warped can mean that I don't know, there's different terms. There's warped, cupped, twisted, bowed depends on you'd have to Google that because I can't answer that. Moo. All right. People like to joke how Home Depot and Lowe's used curved trees to do their wood. Every now and then, the wood that is pretty much guaranteed to be straight and not cupped and warped and twisted and costs more. I believe that's called select pine. I could be wrong, but yeah, I might be wrong. But I don't have a lot of options near me. Yolanda says, you and Billy Ray Cyrus use the same swear language. I didn't know Billy Ray Cyrus said dagnabbit. Achy breaky heart. Don't tell my heart, my achy breaky heart might blow up and kill this man. Ooh. Yep, karaoke with Charlie, by God. I won't read that because of your mistake, Tim, but yeah, that was pretty funny. Straight as fine. That didn't sound right, sorry. That's funny right there, I tell you what. Yeah, we're going to get there, folks. 17 people that are taking time out of their Christmas to watch me. That's just plumb nifty. I appreciate that. Sorry. I am falling asleep at the saw, but I will get this done, by God. It looks complicated, but there's not really many more cuts to do, so the hard part's done as far as all the confusing cut, or not confusing, busy cuts in there. Dang it, moo. Randy Bosheen says, when you clear coat the thicker pieces, do you spray both sides? I don't remember, because I don't usually do thick pieces, but I guess I could spray both sides. Some unique person might want to display their piece backwards. So yeah, you never know. Okay, here we go. And when you're doing a curly cue like this, for me, you lessen the odds of breaking a curly piece like that if you start from the end of the curly. In this case, it's not a very long curly, but if it's a long curly, you start from the end of it, go a little ways, go to the other side of that curly. Whoops. Like I've already cut one side of that curly, and now I'm going part way around the other. But since the other side of that wasn't very long, I'm just going to continue the cut. But yeah, I just do it in waves. That way it won't vibrate loose and break. I hope that made sense, because I don't know how else to word it. But if I made this cut too thin, then I could just compensate on the perimeter cut and not make it as thin. What I mean is this area right here, if I had gotten too close to that line, I would just make it wider out here. So, but I think we're safe. And we're moving up to the top portion. Whew. All right, we're going to get there. Now, because we're on the top portion, I'm going to move the cup that way. And I went off the line, so now I got to fix that. But because this curly cue is so small, I'm not worried about starting from the end of the curly cue, the other end. Got a piece of debris in the way, so it won't let me stay on the line. And I'm also going to turn it for why, Yolanda? Why am I turning the piece? Sorry to call you out there. Nobody gave her the answer. Dang it. Wavy line. I'll give you credit for that answer, Yolanda. The word we're looking for when we say that is visual comfort. But yes, you answered the same way, just in different words. So yes, you passed. Yay! Well, I saw a line I need to make a little bit sharper. All right, there we go. You did it, Yolanda. Yeah. Everybody applaud for Yolanda. Oh, I'm behind on comments over here. Tim Turner asked if I ever do anything in 3D. I guess he means like constructing a project versus just cutting a flat piece out. Once in a blue moon. I have a video on YouTube called Walnut Stagecoach or something like that. I also did a rose basket, and what else did I do? A layered rose thingy that helped in a vase. Mimi Lord says, do you sand your interior cuts when you are done? I sand the fuzzies off, but I don't actually sand the interior cuts. I just use a needle file and get those fuzzies off. Oops. Trying to catch up on the comments here. And Tim Turner is congratulating Yolanda. Randy Bosheen says, slow type. Yes, I have. I save my speed for cutting. That is a good comeback, sir. And Yolanda clarifies and says, visual comfort. Yay. Yeah, Tim Turner says, I remember seeing the rose basket. Yeah, it's been a while. I rarely go outside my comfort zone on designing. Portrait style, yeah. All right, let's get back on it. Apparently, y'all want me to work on this thing while I'm live streaming instead of just talking. I'll drive a hard bargain, but you're welcome. By God, thank you. Midnight Joker says, does the resin content in some pines cause problems? I've never scrolled thicker pine, but have had it bogged down my bandsaw and table saw. I do that when I go across a knot in the wood sometimes. Tim Turner says, take your time. I'm eating pancakes and sausage. Rub it in while I'm sitting here slaving over the saw and can't eat. I'm just kidding. Well, we're almost done here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 more interior cuts and then the perimeter. And then we shall be done. By golly. And I'll get there, but Dr. Pepper is a requirement here. And you might be thinking this Dr. Pepper will keep me awake, but it won't, because it's practically my bloodstream. Doesn't work like caffeine for some people. Yep. See, Yolanda's been watching Dr. Pepper break. That or she's trying to get extra credit points. Anyway, that's funny right there. And Mike, this is a example of cutting to the right of the line for that visual comfort reason. Visual comfort. We like visual comfort. Ugh. Now, although this pilot hole is close to this straight line, I'm going to do the curved part first to come around so that I can do that visual comfort on the straight line coming towards me. So that is why you will see me not go to that line. I'll jump over to there. Midnight Joker says, got guests for a while. Looking good so far. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you watching. Y'all have fun. And Merry Christmas, by golly. Tim Turner says, add a little coffee to your Dr. Pepper and you'll be awake. Yes, but I'll be vomiting because that sounds very gross and I don't drink coffee. Good morning, Leonard. Okay. It could stand to be a little warmer in here, but I'll live. Don't comment too loud or I'll wake up. Merry Christmas, Mr. Davis. I still can't believe Russ Clarity called you Leonard. That's just, he never was real good with names. God love him. Okay, again, I'm doing the curved side first just to get it out of the way. Even though I prefer to cut towards myself. The place I put the pilot hole is too close to the bottom, so I'll just suffer through this for the people. I drew the line a little bit sloppy, so I'm trying to go off the line. So this side is not a visual comfort because I'm pulling the piece towards me versus pushing it away. I'm going to shave the line a little bit right here. There comes that visual comfort. You hear that? How that sound keeps changing? That's the blade going through the grains of wood in the pine. I'm not done yet, just getting that waste piece out, but I guess y'all can see that. And if that little connection there is too narrow for you, make it wider. Mimi Lord says, when pricing your work, do you price per hour or the difficulty of the job? The difficulty of the job. Sometimes it's the size. But, for example, this piece has a very long name in it, but it didn't seem fair. Although it's a little more work, it didn't seem fair to charge somebody more because they have a longer last name. So I charge $40 for the thick wood, regardless of how many letters in the last name. It's hard to give other examples. Never by the hour, just usually by the detail in the piece, except for these name things, because I don't think it would be fair to penalize somebody for having a long name. Leonard Davis says, good morning all, Merry Christmas. Tim Turner says, if I ever get a chance to come down there, I will stop at Dublin for you. I appreciate that. Dublin is Dublin. Dublin has the Dr. Pepper with the sugar in it. It's a town in Texas. Oh, and Yolanda asked what Dublin is, and he's answering that to her. Randy Bosheen says, no, not for displaying backwards. It gives a better, more uniform visual effect on the inside of the cuts, like the lettering. Yes, sir, you're right. But you can do that from the front. But, it's up to you. But you may have been referring to the sides and not the back. Tim Turner says, original Dr. Pepper with real sugar. I don't know if they shut down or if they will have it back. All right, yep. Well, the last thing I need is more sugar. But I would not complain because I like me some Dr. Pepper, as some of you may well gathered. some people bring a bottle of wine when they're going to see friends, but people here just, a matter of fact, when I saw Jeff Robinson in Houston woodworking show, which I rarely get out, so that was a treat. He brought me a 20-ounce Dr. Pepper. I thought that was funny. Not that it's a requirement to bring me a Dr. Pepper. Anyway, oh Lord, I'm trying to stay awake over here. Okay. Get more in there. We're getting there, folks. Tim Turner says, Charles, I did not realize you like Dr. Pepper. I know, it's an utter shock to a lot of people. Now this one's getting dangerously low, but I do have another just slightly out of reach, but I'll try to fight through it. But we'll see whether or not I can do that. But I won't end up laying on the floor with any luck. Good Lordy. Whew. I love that Dr. Pepper. An utter shock to some, I know. Oh, stretching my back. Forgive the sound effects. I tried to follow the grain there, so I gotta compensate on the rest of the cut. Make it a subtle curve. And I rarely do straight lines sideways like this, but it just seemed natural. There we go. Oh, more comments not showing up. Mimi Lord says, I've been to the Dr. Pepper Museum. It was great. They sold the Dr. Pepper with cane sugar. Yes, ma'am, they did. I've never been there, believe it or not. Randy Bosheen says, gotten back for a short. I'm disrupting my Husky's routine on what time we go shop. She's behind me and whining, talking to me. Poor thing. Yolanda says, what time do you start if you weren't live? How long would this have taken you? I have no idea, Yolanda. I'm terrible at guesstimating how long it will take me to do something. I truly don't know. But I started this piece slightly after 7:50 a.m. my time, which is the same time for you. But I don't know how long it would have taken me if it was just me. I'd rather be honest and say I don't know than fib at you and make myself out to be an expert. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the reason this one's taking me a while is because I'm stretching between every cut, and the whole Dr. Pepper requirement, and the fact that I'm reading comments. But it also depends on the wood you're working with as to how long it takes. So sometimes it's got the weird grain in it, and that'll try to steer your blade. And I'm doing everything I am to keep my eyes open right now. But we're almost done with this puppy, believe it or not. Okay. Keeps trying to go off that line is why I'm not just cutting smooth down that line, because I want to stay on the line. And it won't set right where I want it. Yeah, the grain keeps making me go off that line, so I gotta go back and shave it. But not too bad. Now, Yolanda, or any other beginners out there, most people, when they get a scroll saw, most scroll saws have a hold down foot. But a lot of people take those off because it gets in their way when they're lifting the piece to bottom feed the blade. As long as you hold down the piece with your hands, then you don't need that hold down foot. I hope that made sense. There we have one more interior cut, and then the rest of it we cut the perimeter. And as with anything else, at least on the open up areas, I can use a belt sander to get to the line if I go off of it on the outside. Oh, right, no updated comments, so we're good. Get right back into it. Tim Turner asked, do you work with cedar? If I have it, I will. My favorite kind of wood is aromatic cedar, but it is brittle. It tends to break very easily. But it smells good and it looks good. That's about the only other time I work with thick wood is cedar, aromatic cedar. But money. I have a piece of rough aromatic cedar over here, but it's needs sanded and it's got a crack down the majority of the middle of it, is why I haven't used it yet. But I think aromatic cedar is some of the most gorgeous wood, and it's very, very soft. It cuts very, very quickly. But as far as regular cedar, I haven't used it a whole lot. All right, last interior cut, and then we're going to cut the perimeter of this puppy. And for anybody that doesn't know what perimeter means, it just means the outside edge. Blade's getting a little bit dull, so I may use a sharper one after this cut. That way the perimeter cut can hopefully get done and all of them with one blade. But it would take a little while with this little bit dull one, because I'm already having to push more than I would like. But I got a little wave in the line because of the grain. And when your blade starts getting dull and you have to push it harder and harder, it will likely break your blade. At least with a spiral. Cutting across the grain goes quicker than with it, believe it or not. All right, we're going to cut the perimeter. Now, I could have just started from the outside of the letter to get up to the line, but I went ahead and drilled a pilot hole right there. That way I didn't have any breaks in the perimeter, and that allows me to just lay the letter back in there, and we can, sorry if I bump the camera, we can lay it right back in there for sanding. Although the wood is slightly cupped, we'll just still rock it back and forth to sand it, but I won't be sanding it on the live feed. Come on now. The last cut and I can't get anything to cooperate. Let me make sure the hole is lined up. Yep, it moved off again. This is our last cut, but it's a long cut because it's the whole outside edge of this puppy. Come on, Cletus, get this. Oh, y'all didn't tell me, hey, you're supposed to be putting a sharper blade back in there. So y'all were going to let me mess it up. Yolanda asked, do you factor in the number of blades you will use in the process for the price? No, ma'am, I don't, because 9 times out of 10 when I break a blade, it's because of my mistakes. Quick answer is no, I don't, because I never know how many blades I will break, but I'm not going to penalize the customer for that. But that was a good question. Tim Turner says, how about using double-sided tape that hold them down? Are you talking about this table moving, Tim? If so, the reason why I don't have double-sided tape on it right now is because the blade clamping system on this table, or on this scroll saw, is right there on the table, and I haven't taken it off yet and put it elsewhere. So right now I need to be able to access that. That's why this table is not attached to this table. But eventually I will get off my rear and put this somewhere other than right here so that I can double-sided tape this to this. But if you mean something else, I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, we're putting a sharp blade in now, so that hopefully I can get through that perimeter cut without breaking a blade, unless I push it, which I've been known to do. I might have picked up a dull one, it's hard to tell, but we'll see. Okay. I can relate, Tim. Okay. I will have everything in view once I get this blade fed through the pilot hole. I just had to show what I was talking about on the table. All right, pull it back a little bit, put it on the piece. Okay. One last stretch and Dr. Pepper. And we will get this exterior cut. Some fat guy just finished off my Dr. Pepper, dagnabbit. That was rude. Oh well. Okay, here we go. This is gonna be a bugger, because if we got straight lines, curved lines, and curly Q lines, it's just gonna be a hoot. And yes, I'm mentally preparing myself to stick with one long cut. It sounds silly, but that's what I'm doing. Hopefully y'all can hang with me just a little bit longer. All right, here we go. Here we go. You might be able to hear it and see it going from grain to grain on there. That's one drawback to using pine like this, is it wants to hop and skip over those grains. So I'm just going to compensate as I go. Did all kinds of grain following there, so I got a lot of little waves in the line. pretty confident y'all can hear that jumping across those grains. Now the grains are wide, a little bit wide further down, but right in here they're getting tighter, so it keeps trying to take me off the line. It's okay if I go off the line here because I can use the belt sander on the top and bottom. Ah. See, it just broke the tip off the blade. I can use a belt sander too if I go off the line on the top or bottom of the letter, so we're good. Yep, this not liking the grain on this. I'm just not a fan of thick wood for that reason, but worse problems to have. Recheck the tension. All right. Okay. Anthony Campbell, hello, sir, says, Merry Christmas, Charles. See you were streaming and wanted to check in. Much obliged. I appreciate that. Same with Mr. Hoosier Mike, says, Merry Christmas. Thank you, sir. Yeah, again, when I'm working on the top and bottom of a letter, I'm not as careful because I know I can use a belt sander to flatten that. So, let's get back on it. Yeah, I'm just not a fan of working with thick wood except for things like this. I mean, it looks better in thick wood, but yeah, it breaks more blades, at least for me, because the habit I have of trying to push too hard to get a piece cut. A little stretchy. Oh, diddly. In some ways, it doesn't feel like Christmas. I don't mean that in a bah humbug kind of way. It just doesn't. Here we go. The original design here had a little hump in there, and I didn't like the way that looked, so I just made a little hook there. Yeah, so there's that. Here we go. And for some reason, when you're cutting along the grain, which is going this way, it's harder than cutting across the grain as far as resistance. I'm going slow intentionally, so hopefully I don't break the blade. But I am having to push kind of hard. But you can probably hear that resistance, but the second I go to cut across the grain here in a second, you'll notice how much quicker it cuts. Unless I'm slowing down to keep the ripples out of the line. Alright. This should go a little quicker on this direction. Yep. Now this curl I'm coming up next to, I want to make a little thicker than it is. So I'm going to go off the line just a bit. One of the waves almost made me break that. See how much quicker that cuts when you're going across the grain? Going off the line because of grains again. So again, I don't know if that's something that happens with flat blades, but I know it happens with me on spiral blades. I know y'all know I'm not making excuses because I know y'all can hear it when I cut across those grains. It cuts quicker across those grains, but it also wants to get wavy. Especially on a curve or a slant, these straight ones are a little easier to control. I'm quite confident y'all can hear that when I go across them. Again, not real worried about the top and bottom because I can get those with a belt sander. But I am going with the grain, so it's a slower cut. And I'm pushing harder, so it might break the blade. With all that being said, these things like this might be easier with a flat blade. I don't know because I don't use a flat blade. We're getting there. So close. Jesse Ramirez says Merry Christmas. Right back at you, Jesse. Appreciate you. Anthony Campbell says 70-degree weather doesn't help with the feel of it either. I hear you. Hoosier Mike says it's getting to 60 today in Indy. I don't know what it's supposed to get up to today here in Texas, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to snow. Okay. See, all that cutting, we've only done about half of the outside. We still got to go around here and go up the other side. It's not as fun cutting thick wood for me, but these letters do look better in thicker wood. Now, I need to go about a couple feet away and get a Dr. Pepper that I cannot reach. We've seen what happens when I don't have my Dr. Pepper. Yeah, I tend to push the blades harder when it's thicker wood. So yeah, it's just not as fun for me. But there are worse problems to have, my friends. Now this one wasn't as hard because it was a smaller piece, but that's thick wood as well. But I thought that was kind of cool. Oh, yep. Okay. Get set up here. Again, we're going to be cutting across the grain, so it will go quickly, but it will try to follow the grain. And this one's going to go slowly because we're going with the grain in a very tight grained area. Told you I was going to push it too hard. I'm glad I have more than one blade. That would really make this take forever. So, okay. If you jumped, you got to take a drink. Just saying. A swig of that special eggnog. I haven't had any eggnog this year. Dang it. I like eggnog. No, not spiked. Come on now. We're going to get there, I promise. If anybody has any questions or comments, feel free to throw them out there. Oh, a little bit of a stretch. Appreciate 18 people taking time out of their day to watch this. That means a lot. We are almost done. We got to cut around the letter from here over to here, and then we'll be done cutting it out. I guess I could back up just a tad so you can see the whole letter. If my crane will stay there. It cuts. There's more resistance when you're cutting with the grain than across it. But the drawback to cutting across it is that it almost, you can, if you listen closely, you can hear it going boom, boom, boom. I don't know if that was a good sound effect, but a little bit exaggerated. But yeah, it's resists at each little grain line. It's a very tight grain on this one. It is straight grain, but it's still tight. What I'm using is pine. I don't know the exact thickness. I would say about 3/4. Dr. Pepper. Yip, yip, yip. And my stomach's gurgling. I didn't know I was hungry. But I'm not going to stop a live feed when there's only one cut left. Oh, sorry, bear with me. I got to stretch a little bit. 20 people watching. We appreciate you. Yolanda saying, is this the third broken blade? Reach over there and grab your Dr. Pepper. Yeah, that's what I do. Yeah, again, I'm going to say this 50,000 times, but the thicker wood looks better for these letters, in my opinion, but it's more of a pain in the rear to cut with the thicker wood. Out of all the orders I had last year of these name letter things, only one of them was thin wood. The rest of them were thick. But yeah, I had a lot of sales of these last year. This is my only one this year. But there was a miscommunication as far as custom work and paying ahead of time for custom work and blah, 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 blah. But life's too short, so I didn't gripe that it was the holidays. I just said, okay, well, when I get home from my parents, I will work on it, and I'll let you know the second it's done. Because no good would have come out of me getting all upset and drama. Ken McCrory says, Merry Christmas, y'all, and right back at you, sir. Tim Turner says, I will see about getting some cedar. I have a friend who has a mill. Would love for you to scroll something for me. Absolutely, sir. I'd be happy to. I love cedar and aromatic cedar. Mainly the smell, but aromatic cedar has the most gorgeous grain on it. But it cuts very soft. You have to almost be careful so it doesn't cut too quick, but it's also very brittle, but it looks good. So I'm not being real careful. For anybody just joining, is why I'm repeating myself. I'm not being real careful about staying on the line on the tops and bottom of this big letter, because I know I can use a belt sander to fix that. I'm going slow, hopefully to avoid breaking the blade. Every time it hits one of those grain lines, it makes a little bitty wave, so I keep having to go back. A little bit of resistance, so I might break the blade on this too because I'm pushing it. Almost there. Dang it. I knew I was going to push it. Okay. That's way more blades than I usually go through in one project, but okay. Well, we'll deal with it as it comes. Dag blabbit. Yeah, just no matter how hard I try, I don't always keep track of how hard I'm pushing. Not a fan of thick wood. Might have mentioned that before. If scroll saw blades were expensive, I wouldn't be in this hobby because I break way too many. Let me try to catch. Excuse me. Tim Turner says I love working with Spanish cedar. I haven't been familiar with that. Mimi Lord says just found a present on my porch. Sweet. I don't think there's one on mine, but Papa Dan says Merry Christmas from Quebec City with a good -8 degrees Celsius, 17.5 Fahrenheit. That's a little nippy there, Papa. Appreciate you watching from old Canada. Okay, I'll get going again here, I promise. Figure since the blade broke, I have to do my stretch and grab a swig of Dr. Pepper. I'll hold off on the swig of Dr. Pepper. I know that's a utter shock to some, but okay. If I was making this out of aromatic cedar, it would cut much quicker. Much quicker. Very soft wood. A little wave in the wood I can feel, so I wanted to see it while I was trying to shave it off there. That's a tough spot right there. It wants to keep bouncing over it, and this is a sharp blade. We might just have to deal with it. All right. Very small cut here, so I gotta be careful. Now, if this little curly Q breaks off, that's fine. I can just take off this portion of the design, but it won't really take away from the fanciness. It is probably the thinnest part of the whole design. That went way off the line. Besides the fact that I'm pushing into the blade harder than I should, it's also that tight grain, so that's not a good combination. And it's also one long cut for the most part if the blade hadn't broken, but that's more friction and more heat on the blade, which will make it break, at least on thick wood. Now, Pegasus blades are sharper, but they're also brittle. Almost done. And it's trying to follow the grain. Aside from having to sand away carbon paper lines and, well, let me get the camera better. Sanding away carbon paper lines, fine tuning little bitty waves in the line. That is the finished piece. I'm not going to mess with trying to sand it and everything on the live feed, but I will sand it for the customer. But I hope y'all appreciated it. I hear you, Herb, wondering how many blades you can break. Randy Bosheen says fire blades will wander with the grain more than flats because of the loose grain in pine and other soft woods, but not in tight grain wood like maple and walnut. Agreed. I appreciate everybody that took time out of your Christmas to watch this live feed. I hope it was worth it. If not entertainment, just maybe learned a couple things or just got something to watch. I will try to do another live feed later in the day or even nighttime. It just depends on when I get back home and if I'm conscious. Hey, if not, I will do one the following day. You have my work. Well, I have a noon appointment Thursday, but yeah, we'll just watch for notifications. If you're on Facebook, I go by the Charles Deering on Facebook. That's all one word. I go by Charles Deering Scroll or just Charles Deering on YouTube. I hope you'll subscribe and hit the bell to be notified. But I will be back, and I need to sand this for the customers. And Tim Turner says that's absolutely gorgeous, and Merry Christmas, sir. Back to you. Appreciate everybody watching, and please stick around or look to be notified because I will be doing more live streams. We appreciate you, and above all, you know you got to scroll on.